Casey Hudson and Mark Darrah are officially leaving BioWare. And now I ask the question, is BioWare dead? I think it's a reasonable question to ask at this point, and I'm sure a lot of people would say, oh yeah, Jake, absolutely. They've been gone for a long, long time. This is not BioWare. This is an alien who looks exactly like BioWare, but their eyes are all glazed over and weird, and we just go, oh yeah, I guess that's my brother right there. Boy, you look weird. You're all silent now. With these two leaving BioWare, I think it's fair to say BioWare isn't BioWare anymore. And I guess it's fair to say that BioWare hasn't been BioWare for a long time. But I want to look into the fact that BioWare could still exist. It could, right? I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be dead, although I think a lot of people would say it probably is. Hi everyone, this is Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Yeehaw! And that's what we're talking about today. Is BioWare dead? What's going on with them and what will they become? So, first off, I guess a funny little coincidence. Someone I follow and know, Greg Gallant, he tweeted about this, and this is how I saw it. The gaming community reacts to Casey Hudson and Mark Darrah's departure from BioWare. And he said, do they? Which is funny because I thought, well, that's exactly what I want to do, Greg. I want to react to what's going on over here at BioWare. Let's see what people are saying about it real quick before we hop into the article. To me, this screams creative differences and that these have a chance of bombing. The last few games from BioWare have been turkeys. Time will tell. I mean, I think that's obvious. I don't even know if creative differences is necessarily correct. I think when you started BioWare, you were BioWare, and then you got bought by a massive corporation. So let's say you worked at Target, and your job at Target was to oversee the rotating holiday section. So you've got decorations for Christmas, and you've got decorations for Valentine's Day, decorations for Flag Day, all the big days. You could do the best you want with that, but you still have to adhere to what Target is telling you to do, essentially. Now, if you own your own holiday store, boy, that would be a hard store to own right now. I mean, people would have to be eating outside. If you own your own holiday store, you could say, well, they own their own store, they get to do things their way. But when you work for Target under their section, I think you just kind of have to do what Target wants and do the best job you can within that framework. Doesn't mean it will be terrible, but they are owned by Electronic Arts. A little more, not good. Need to get BioWare away from EA. I mean, as I will present in this video, I don't think there is a BioWare to get away from EA. I think BioWare isn't BioWare anymore, possibly. EA buying BioWare really was the worst thing to ever happen. Yeah, it was the worst thing to ever happen. I remember that. Ever. BioWare is truly gone. They've lost every single person that made them great. KOTOR, ME, Dragon Age. This person's always talking about me. Why not Mass Effect? Am I right? So you get it. Everyone can kind of see the writing on the wall. And let's talk about what happened. Let's hop into this article over here from IGN. Casey Hudson, Mark Darrah to leave studio. All current projects plan to continue. Well, of course, all current projects are planned to continue. They're not going to cancel Dragon Age and the Mass Effect re-release just because these guys are gone. In fact, it's irrelevant that they were there in the first place because this isn't BioWare anymore. This is the seasonal section inside of Target. We have to recognize that. And they need to put up their stuff exactly when it needs to go up. Without going into it, we all know a lot about what happened with Anthem. They kind of presented a gameplay demo that wasn't really a gameplay demo. And then someone at EA goes, I like that. I like that they're jumping around and flying. And they had to sort of create a game in reverse just based on what someone thought was kind of cool. Here we go. EA announced that Casey Hudson, the general manager of BioWare, and Mark Darrah, the executive producer of the upcoming Dragon Age, will be departing the company. All currently ongoing projects, including Anthem Next, oh boy, the next Dragon Age, oh boy, and the Mass Effect Legendary Edition remasters among them will continue as planned, despite the leadership shifts. Samantha Ryan will continue to oversee the studio, while Christian Daly, who joined BioWare from Blizzard, oh good, Blizzard, one sinking ship to another, will now be leading the Dragon Age project as executive producer, with Matthew Goldman remaining as creative director on the project. And the Mass Effect collection will continue to be led by Mike Gamble, blah, blah, blah. This is Hudson's second departure from BioWare. We all remember when he left the studio in 2014 and announced a new position at Microsoft. He rejoined in 2017, when then GM Aaron Flynn stepped down while the company searches for a new GM, Gary McKay, blah, blue. They will always be a part of the studio's history. We appreciate their many contributions, and we look forward to seeing what they will do next. But EA doesn't really care, right? Why would they? It's just the seasonal section at Target, people. It's not BioWare anymore. I will show you that. I will show you that it is not BioWare anymore. They said it's a difficult decision for me. The team of the blah, 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 Dragon Age, they taught me so much. I'm sure they did. It's not an easy decision to make, and big changes like this will always come with a certain degree of sadness. I will miss being able to work every day with our inspiring developers and the biggest on the biggest and most exciting projects I can imagine, but I also know that this is a good time for change for both myself and BioWare. So, obviously, they were desperate to get Casey back when he left, because he was one of sort of the people who had the original BioWare DNA inside them. And now we have people like Christian Daly, who I don't know anything about. He could make great games. I have no idea. He hasn't worked on a ton from what I'm seeing over here at Moby Games. I guess he had something to do with The Last Airbender as a lead designer, Lords of EverQuest, Anthem. You know, it's very possible. StarCraft Remaster, he was doing some stuff on that. It's very possible that he is going to be a really valuable member of BioWare's team moving forward, even though, again, it's not really BioWare. This is the new alien BioWare with the glazed over eyes. Matthew Goldman, who left, or Matthew Goldman, who's running one of the projects, correct? Yeah, Matthew Goldman remaining as creative director. He did the art for Dragon Age. Great. Very cool. He was a senior artist on Origins and an art director for the team. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the art of Dragon Age. That's definitely not where the problems they've had stem from. So cool that he is around, but I don't think that saves Dragon Age. When you look at all the people, I mean, Mark Darrah was a project director on the original Dragon Age. Mike Laidlaw, as you heard me talk about in a previous video, he has already left BioWare as well. So with Mark Darrah leaving, we've got the executive producer of Anthem, Dragon Age Inquisition, Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Origins, Sonic Chronicles, The Dark Brotherhood. He was the project director. This guy is part of BioWare's DNA. The same thing with someone like Casey Hudson, who was the project director for Mass Effect 2. I mean, most people would probably say BioWare's best game. You could say KOTOR possibly is one of their best games. Maybe like Dragon Age Origins. That would be my favorite game of theirs. But what I'm trying to show you here is that all of these people are gone. All the people who started BioWare are gone. If we look, it really happened about here. In 2014, right? Yeah, Casey Hudson left in 2014. Maybe it was 2013 where they left. September 2012. I've only missed it by 2 years. After the announcement of the third Dragon Age title. So this was after Dragon Age 2 came out and everything was kind of, whoa, what's going on over there? It was really one of BioWare's first big missteps, because they had Mass Effect, which had a lot of jank, but people were excited about. And then they had Mass Effect 2, which was a massive success. In fact, it's weird to think about, but that was early on in their partnership with Electronic Arts, or I guess you wouldn't consider it a partnership when you work for Target, right? I'm a partner over at Target. That was after EA had already owned them, and I'm sure EA pushed them to make it a little more action heavy. And in the case of Mass Effect, it was a massive success. Mass Effect 2 was so much better than Mass Effect 1 in almost all ways. I won't say everything, because there was some charm to Mass Effect 1 and some cool stuff that got left behind. But in general, Mass Effect 2 was a huge success. But everything that continued after that, it feels like all the massaging from their corporate overlords at EA continued to make their games hopefully more mainstream, because they're trying to make a bunch of money, but also you continued to lose the soul of BioWare. It just isn't there anymore. Mass Effect 3, I think a lot of people would say is worse than 2. I definitely think it's worse than 2. It's not a bad game by any means, but they really let people down with the ending, as you can remember. And it just feels like They needed to get this game out, and it was what it was. It was more action heavy and lighter on the RPG elements, which all of their games have been going towards. More action, less role playing, and you continue to see that, especially as people start to shut off from the company. So again, after announcing the third Dragon Age title, Ray Muzyka, sorry Ray, and Greg Zeschlik, two of the remaining co-founders, simultaneously announced they would be retiring from the game industry. So in 2012, the people who started BioWare and the people who had that original vision were gone. They were gone, but they kept some people around, people who worked on big games, like Casey Hudson, who then left. And then other people, Dragon Age's writer, David Gator, left. People just kept leaving. They brought Casey Hudson back because they were like, we need that DNA. We need someone to make BioWare feel like BioWare again. But it was kind of too late. He had to work on Anthem. He probably, I don't think he had anything to do with Andromeda, but I'm really not sure. Mass Effect Andromeda was a mess. Anthem was a mess. And now BioWare has 2 games left, really. I mean, Dragon Age 4 and the Mass Effect collection, which, of course, the Mass Effect remaster is going to make a bunch of money. And Dragon Age will probably make a bunch of money, but they could be real disasters as a game. I mean, we've seen the direction this company's going. It's weird to think that this company started making Baldur's Gate and KOTOR and Jade Empire and the amazing Mass Effect and Dragon Age Origins. And now they're making Anthem. It's wild. Mass Effect Andromeda. But they're not BioWare anymore. We have to remember, we see this happen all the time in the games industry. They're now Rare. If you don't know a lot about Rare, oh, you young chap, that's probably why you don't know about Rare, but I remember Rare well. Rare made amazing games like Donkey Kong Country, Killer Instinct, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Conker's Bad Fur Day. You get it. Banjo-Kazooie. They made these huge games. And then they were bought by Microsoft in 2002. But after they were bought and a lot of the people who were there left, the DNA of Rare was gone and it became the seasonal section at Target. They made Grabbed by the Ghoulies, Cameo, Elements of Power, Perfect Dark Zero, Viva Pinata. And even if you like some of those games and see what they are doing and think it's pretty cool, or like, for instance, they released Sea of Thieves, you can still recognize this isn't Rare anymore. It's some other company. It's Microsoft. It's just their little seasonal section at Target, at Microsoft. And BioWare is now that. So I don't mean to be glib by saying BioWare is dead or is BioWare dead. I think the answer is the name BioWare exists. It is a subsidiary of Electronic Arts. But the soul of BioWare, what made BioWare BioWare, that's been gone for a long time. And a move like this over here, seeing Casey Hudson and Mark Darrah leave, it's just further evidence that BioWare isn't BioWare anymore. They work for Target now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, a like and a comment, that would be excellent. I love you all. Thanks for listening or watching. Mwah! See you next time.